Chess fans, in today's video I'm going to show you two illustrative examples of how you will punish your opponent for not castling their king early. So just before I start, there's two main ways that you can do this. The first way is through immediately attacking your opponent's king, which is going to be the first example I show you, and the second way you can do it is by breaking open the center so you can have more avenues to attack your opponent's king. So now I'm going to go on to the examples. So the first example starts off with e4, e5, knight f3, knight c6. This is all developing moves. Bishop c4, bishop c5. These are all good developing moves. Castles, so we see our first castle of the game, and as I've said, castling is definitely a good move to play. Knight f6, d3, and so we have a pretty natural position. And obviously here we can conclude that black should probably castle, and the position is probably equal because it's very symmetrical, but also black and white's king are very safe. But let's say black doesn't castle. How do you punish this exactly? So let's say they go a6, we develop another piece with bishop e3, and let's say they take, and play another non-castling move like bishop d7. If they castle here, they would be fine. But obviously, we're talking about how to punish them if they don't castle. So let's say they play bishop d7. Then immediately, we have our first way to punish people for not castling, which is to immediately go and attack their king. So to immediately go and attack their king, the position starts off with knight g5, immediately attacking the f7 square. And we know this would have been a bad move if they castled, because then the rook would be defending the f7 square. So after knight g5, they're already in a very dire situation in which now castling actually loses because we have knight d5 getting rid of this important defender, and after something like takes we have queen h5, and here this position is very dire as there's really nothing black can do to stop major material loss or mate happening. So after knight takes f7, something like this happens, and as you can see, white's position has just been absolutely dominant, and here actually even if they block, you're winning more than just a few pawns. You're also like going to checkmate their king likely. So this all started from black just refusing to castle, and we used our first strategy to punish someone for not castling, which is to immediately attack their king. So now I'm going to go into the second way you punish them, is to break the center. So let's start off with an example in the Scandinavian, which goes e4, d5, takes. Again, I actually made a video about why you should move your queen out early, but this is what our opponent decided to do. So we just make a bunch of developing moves. As you can see, both players are developing their pieces and going to prepare to castle. And after castles, e6, c4, we attack his queen, queen d4, knight c3, bishop e7. We get into the second way you can punish your opponent for not castling their king, which is to break in the center. And when you break in the center, often your pieces have avenues to get at the king and attack the king further. So this also lends itself to the other example. So here the best move is actually to open up the center. So see if you can find the best move for white here. So the best move for white here is, if you haven't got it yet, is d5, to immediately open the center because the king is in the center. As we can see, there's multiple lanes for attack, whether it be a bishop coming here, a rook coming here, or many other ways that the king can be attacked. So after e takes, c takes, obviously we have to take back, he has to go here because he can't really go anywhere else because they're mostly covered. And so he has to go here, and there we play queen b3, attacking this pawn. Notice we could have also played here, which would again be a great move, but queen b3 is what the engine thinks is best. And after queen c8, we have knight d4, attacking a piece with tempo. And if he castles or something like that, then we just win the pawn. As you can see here, we just win a pawn, and after knight d7, we actually win another pawn. So obviously he can't castle now, he's too late. And let's say he moves his bishop somewhere with something like bishop d7, then after bishop d3, we have loads of threat. First of all, we have the threat of d6, and if he takes, then we can take this pawn on b7. As you can see, we can open up our bishop. Our second threat is to prevent him from castling for a long time. If we play rook e1, then his king can't castle because he would lose a bishop. So we have a lot of threats with this move, and it's already in this move that black is completely lost because of the fact that he didn't castle the king. So his best move would be something like c5, and after d6, he's in a world of hurt after c takes here and bishop takes b7. As you can, after bishop b7, as you can see, this is a big fork of the two pieces, and obviously he's not just going to lose a lot of material here, but he's also going to maybe get his king checkmated. So that's the end of today's video, guys. I showed you two strategies in which you can punish your opponent for not castling. The first of which is to break the center open with something like d5, or in any way you can. Maybe in other positions you would have like e5 or something like that. And the second way you can punish them is by immediately going for the king, like I showed you in this example where you play knight g5. So if you liked the video, please remember to leave a like and subscribe, and thank you guys for watching.